Welcome to CEO Insights. I'm Marilyn de Guzman with Investing News Network. I'm speaking with Aneel Waraich, Executive Vice President at Steppe Gold, and he's providing us with some new updates on the company's ATO Gold mine. Hi, Aneel.
Hi, Maryland. Good to be here.
Yeah, good to see you. So let's start our conversation with your recent announcement about the drawdown that you've done for the ATO mine operation. Could you provide a recap on that and what that means for the company?
Yes, for sure. It was a material announcement, actually, that which we put out in July. So early summer, we put out a $150 million US project financing announcement, which allows us to be fully funded for our phase 2 expansion. So a very material update back in the summer, which we now reconfirmed by confirming we've drawn down on the first 10 million US of it. So shows how real that package is. I think that's maybe what investors were waiting for. But what it shows is that we are continuing to advance our phase 2. We've de-risked the asset because now we're funded without raising equity at these massively dilutive levels. And phase 2 continues. The path forward to bring that much larger mine and operation online in 2025 continues. So a big win for our team, massive endorsement for Mongolia, our operating team, and everything we've achieved to date, including already producing 100,000 ounces from our current operation, which is our phase 1 oxide mine that will continue to run until the phase 2 operation comes online in the second half of 2025. So a major announcement, a major win, equity-friendly project financing deal that we've now started to draw down on in advanced construction.
Okay, can you give us a rundown on sort of the activities right now I understand it's in phase 1 right now at the gold mine. Provide sort of an overview of what's going on right now at that mine and what phase 2 would look like.
Absolutely. So as a reminder, this project, the ATO mining license, this is a project that we bought. It was greenfield, but it had about 1.2 million ounces back in 2017 when we bought this from Steppe Gold, inclusive of 210,000 ounces of reserves. Today, the ATO mine, ATO deposit, is just under 2.5 million ounces of resources and 1.7 million ounces on a gold equivalent basis of reserves, which are the reserves that back up this phase 2 expansion. So quite a decent sized footprint that's already in production. We've been in production on the phase 1 oxide operation in mine since April 2020. So when the country was closed, the world was essentially locked up. We were able to bring production online for the first time ever from our oxide mine with our 100% local team. And that's the importance of being local in any jurisdiction, not just Mongolia. So very profitably, we hit the ground running with producing 15,000 ounces our first ever quarter during Q2 of 2020 at about $800 all-in cost. We've since produced 100,000 ounces. We just hit that milestone just a few days ago, actually. Produced over 100,000 ounces from this mine since we started in April 2020. And it'll continue to run until the end of 2025. So we have about 65,000 ounces on a recovered basis remaining on this phase 1 operation that will continue to produce and sell. And that's without finding any more oxide or deposits on the property. So what we're doing for the first time ever is starting a shallow drill program across the remaining 90% of our mining license that we have not drilled, with the hopes of finding new oxides. If we do, and we're successful this year and into the first half of next year, we can extend the mine life and production profile for phase 1. If not, phase 1 will come offline at the end of 2025. There will be some residual production from the heap leach for the following couple of years, but phase 2 comes online. And what phase 2 looks like today is a 12-year mine life at over 100,000 ounces per annum on a gold equivalent basis. So that's the real prize, the real production and cash machine for the company. That's real, 12 years mine life, over 103,000 ounces average for 12 years with a production profile of about 120,000 ounces for the first 5 years. So our hope is that 120,000 ounces the first 5 years will continue for the next 10, 15 years after that. Why? Because we're already finding additional mineralization or new discoveries underneath the deposits. So we've only drilled down to about 350 to 400 meters, depending on the deposits that are in the current mine plan, current reserves, resources, and feasibility study. But since then, we've drilled underneath. We found new mineralization. So our confidence is there that this 12-year mine life will look probably more like a 15 to 20 years. It will probably continue to go after that as well.
So when you're talking to an investor right now, what would you say to them? Why is now a good time to invest in Steppe Gold?
Well, I guess as I explained earlier, first we put together a project financing and expansion package that allows us to be fully funded without having to raise equity and a massive dilutive equity as you would in normal project financing packages. So we avoided that. That's a huge win for any investor. There's no overhang of some equity raise around the corner at these low levels. Right? We went to public at $2 a share before we bought our mine, before we built our mine. We've raised most of our capital at $2 a share or above, and we're trading in the high 70s today, and we don't need to raise money to get back to levels where we were and beyond, or even to get to levels where our peers are. Second, management and board own close to 25% of the company today. You know, we haven't sold a share since we've been public since May 2018, and we've bought more. So we are aligned with our investors. We feel the pain when the markets are rough like they are today, and they have been for a while. But we're here to ride a much bigger gain with our investors. So that alignment is also crucial and critical, I think, from a team like ours. It allows investors to know and understand that we feel the same pain they do when they look at the stock price. And I think that's very, very important. And it shows well how we put together this equity-friendly project financing deal, which allows us to be fully funded to bring the much larger cash flow machine online. So for any investor, they get to come in, alongside blue chip investors like Fidelity Investments, Eric Sprott, Lim Advisors, a few family offices that are sophisticated globally, and all of them have come in at higher prices and aren't sellers. And they're coming in and bought more on market. So I think that's the proof in the pudding in terms of the alignment between ourselves and some of our other investors already. You don't have an overhang of some massive dilutive equity raise. We've put together a real package for funding, and we've now demonstrated that by announcing we've already drawn down on that. So in all of that, we offer this current production. We offer expansion on that production that's funded, yet we still have all the exploration upside and sizzle that any Explorco out there has. That's both in Mongolia and also in Peru, an asset that we acquired at the end of June this year, which added another 2.5 million ounces to our balance sheet. So we're just under a 5 million ounce company today with a production and expansion and a production pipeline for development down the road organically that can bring us to over 200,000 ounces.
That's a pretty good story. And to add to that story, I know that you have other projects in Mongolia as well. Do you want to sort of just provide an overview and an update on all those other projects?
Yeah, so we have a second project that we also acquired in 2017 in the southwest of the country. So it's about 1,500 kilometers southwest. No synergies between the two assets, but it's in a highly prospective new gold province and district. It's a 14,400 hectare exploration license. So it is early days for us for the amount of capital we put towards that project, but we've done the groundwork, IP, magnetics, soil sampling, trenching from surface have yielded results of 1.5 grams gold, 450 grams silver, 3% copper and lead. Very encouraging results. But what's even more encouraging is the fact that our peers and colleagues, Erdene Resources, have the licenses adjoining our license to the north and south. So they've been there for a lot longer than we have. They have over 1 million ounces on the balance sheet today. I think they say they'll have 2 million between the two licenses. So we're in the right area. Someone else is advancing it quicker than we can. In fact, they're working on building a mine on the license adjoining to the south. So in the right area, right opportunity down the road for us as we continue to bring more cash flow online. We can self-fund exploration down here in the Mine Project, or UK for short. And we do believe that's another area for consolidation, other opportunities to roll in more assets in that region, and then go build the same thing we did in our Northeast project in Dorno province is replicate what we've done, create 300 plus jobs, build a mine, and that could be our next production center in country.
So is there a pathway for production for these other projects that you have?
Yeah, so our second project in Mongolia, the Mine Project, is still early days. We'll have to do some drilling, get to a resource, advance permitting, but we're obviously in the right area where another mine is being built as we speak. So it's still a few years away. However, Peru, with the 2.5 million ounces we acquired this year, is a very similar project to our ATO project. So it has oxides at surface, sulfides below. Except the oxides are 3 times the size of our Mongolian phase 1 operation. So our goal there is to advance that to a feasibility study, make it a build-ready project by the time phase 2 is up and running and spinning off cash in Mongolia. So advanced social license, permitting, and eventually put our own feasibility wrap on that project. And then we can use our own cash flow as the equity contribution alongside debt to go build what we've already done in Mongolia, down in Peru. Build out a local team in Peru, maybe bring in a couple of our experts from Mongolia who already built and operated the heap leach and replicate it there. And then we have 2 production centers in 2 different jurisdictions. So there is a path, but there's a sequence. We're not going to build more than one mine at once. So phase 2 of Mongolia is certainly our...
Well, thanks again, Aneel, for your time to speak with me today and providing some updates on your company's projects.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks everyone for watching. Join us again next time for another engaging conversation on CEO Insights. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss future updates and interviews. See you next time.